Hey guys, welcome to yet another Disney ranking video here on the channel. Last time we looked at the Disney Transitional Age, or as many call it, the Disney Dark Age, and I had a lot of fun looking at those movies, and I think the era as a whole is pretty underrated and not the worst that Disney has to offer. But now we're going to be moving forward into a much beloved era of Disney animation and what many people consider, even myself, to be perhaps the greatest era of Disney animation ever, the Disney Renaissance. Consisting of 10 films, this era took place between 1989 and 1999, consisting of two sub-eras, both the High Renaissance and the Low Renaissance. And this was a great prestigious era for Disney animation. It brought them back in a big way with big box office returns, especially in the beginning of this era, and Oscar nominations, critical reception, and audiences just falling in love with many of these movies. Now, this era isn't perfect. There are some chinks in the armor here and there, and we will be getting into those. But overall, this is a great prestigious time for Disney, and it is one of their greatest revivals that they have ever had and probably ever will have. I love this era, guys. So anyway, let's get started with number 10. Number 10 will come at no surprise to anybody. It's Pocahontas. Pocahontas is a beautiful, luscious, ambitious, epic, and extremely dull and boring film. I mean, okay, this movie has it all and yet has nothing in it for me. I just found it so generically bland. The characters are very forgettable. They don't leave an impression on you. The music is really good, fantastic. Not as good as some of the other music that is in this era, but it is really good with some really great songs, Just Around the River Bend, Colors of the Wind, and many others. But what this movie is lacking is just so much heart. This movie takes itself way too seriously, trying to be that big, giant Oscar bait type movie and trying to be the next Beauty and the Beast, which is what Jeffrey Katzenberg was really pushing for, and this movie just tries too hard and falls flat on its face with bland characterizations. It's just really uninteresting and just isn't a good portrayal of this real life person. And people are going to talk about how there's so many historical inaccuracies in this movie. It's an animated film. The historical inaccuracies are the least of this movie's problems. Pacing, characterization, as I said, just a bland story overall, and it's just very forgettable. I was really disappointed the several times that I have watched this film. It doesn't get any better. In fact, it kind of gets a little worse, but I do appreciate the beautiful animation, the beautiful songs, and them trying to do something a little bit different, but ultimately failing. It's definitely the weakest of this era, and one of the weakest Disney films, period. At number 9, we have The Rescuers Down Under, which is a film that I was really looking forward to. I'm a big fan of the original Rescuers film. I used to watch that movie a lot as a kid, and I, for the longest time, did not know that this movie existed until about maybe middle school, and I didn't watch it until doing this ranking here. And overall, I thought this was a really fun film. It is a beautiful looking film, being the first animated film to be filmed digitally, and it just looks great on the screen and has some of the best visuals of any Disney film I've ever seen. It's an epic, fun adventure film with a great villain played by George C. Scott. That's a lot of fun. The story's a lot of fun. Seeing these characters is just really enjoyable to watch, and it's really cool that this is actually the first Disney animated sequel to be released, like, ever, theatrically, on DVD, VHS. It's so cool, but overall, I did find this film though it's beautiful and everything, I found it less interesting than the original Rescuers, which I really, really enjoy. And I think a lot of it has to do with Bernard and Bianca are barely in this film, really. They are not really the central focus, and I really missed that about this film. Some of the characters, I don't care for as much. They're kind of forgettable, but I thought this film was a lot of fun, beautifully animated, a great adventure film, and overall just a really enjoyable film that is definitely the black sheep of the Disney Renaissance. At number 8, we have Hercules, which is a hot mess of a film, and I kind of enjoy it for that. It has a great villain. Hades, played by James Woods, is absolutely fantastic. The animation is beautiful. I love the songs in this movie, especially Go the Distance, but I also love a lot of the other songs, and how strange of a music choice that this film has, basically going for a gospel type style, is honestly a lot of fun and really interesting. I love the action in this film. I do really like the characters, although this movie is tonally inconsistent. It has a huge problem with tone, going from serious to funny in a just split seconds. But overall, I do find this film really fascinating, really fun, and just a fun Disney film. It's definitely a weaker film in the Disney Renaissance, but I think what is there is really enjoyable. It is a mess, but it's a nice, fun kind of mess. Number 7 is going to be extremely controversial, but this is my own personal list, and it's going to be Beauty and the Beast. Guys, I love this film. I absolutely adore it. It is a fun, romantic, adventurous, and beautiful looking film. Just amazing animation here with great characters. Belle, the Beast, Lumiere, Cogsworth, Gaston. Gaston is a fantastic villain, and he's so unconventional, which makes him even more infectious. The songs, though not my favorite that Howard Ashman and Alan Menken did, is absolutely beautiful. They work well together. These songs are really catchy, a lot of fun, and just really enjoyable to listen to. And I think the story overall is very beautiful, the way it is told. I love the opening of this movie with the stained glass window. I think that's just such a creative idea. It has one of my favorite Disney endings ever, one of my favorite climaxes, one of my favorite songs. I absolutely love the Kill the Beast song and how it plays into the finale of this film. This film got nominated for Best Picture, and I think it was deservingly so, because this is a beautiful, romantic, fun film that is definitely up there with one of the greatest Disney films of all time. And I understand why people would put this as like their number 1, but as for me, it's number 7, because I just love all these other films next just a whole lot more. At number 6, we have Mulan. Now, this really, really shocked me. Now, I really like Mulan. Like, I haven't seen it for a long time, but I would watch the film a lot when it was on Disney Channel, or when somebody would bring it to school during elementary school, and I just always found this movie a lot of fun, and this time it just really hit me. This was both an adventurous, fun film that was also emotional and really uplifting too. I love the story of Mulan as she is trying to bring honor to her family. I think this is a visually beautiful film. That scene where the Huns are going down the mountainside in the snow is just beautiful and epic to look at. This is one of the biggest Disney films I have ever seen. It is grand. It is amazing. The songs are beautiful. I love the song Reflection, but the real show stealer is I'll Make a Man Out of You. That is such a catchy song. One of the best Disney songs ever, and it's due to how catchy it is. It's a fun, adventurous film with a very heartfelt message, and I always love the scene at the very end where Mulan returns to her father and it's just such a great, heartwarming scene. I love Eddie Murphy in this film. I think he's really funny, actually. And yeah, this movie just blends comedy and action and some really good themes all together into one package that I absolutely love. At number 5, we have Tarzan, the last film of the Disney Renaissance. This is a film that I grew up watching a lot. Like, a lot. It goes Bambi and then probably Tarzan, the Disney animated movies that I watched the most as a kid. And I loved revisiting this film. I thought it was just so fun. Just a great adventure film. I love the character of Tarzan and his dilemma with, being an ape, but also being a man. I love Jane. She's one of my favorite female characters in a Disney film. I love the music, too. Phil Collins' score is absolutely fantastic in this film. Even though I feel like sometimes what he is singing about doesn't mesh well with what's actually being presented on screen, I still think overall the music is beautiful to listen to. This is also maybe the most visually impressive Disney film of this era, mixing more CGI than had ever been done before with hand-drawn animation. It is a fun adventure film. I love Clayton. I love Tarzan's battle with Kerchak. I love how they butt heads throughout this movie and eventually see each other's side at the very end of the film. It's heartwarming, it's heart-wrenching. I love the opening of this film. It is fantastic, and guys, I just love this film, and probably a lot of it is due to nostalgia, but honestly, I don't care. This is a fun film. At number 4, we have Aladdin. This is just some of the apex of what Disney has to offer. This is a beautiful looking film with a great story, a great adventure. Aladdin, Jasmine, the genie, some of my favorite Disney characters with beautiful animation, as I said, and beautiful music from Tim Rice, Alan Menken, and the late Howard Ashman that are just beautifully put into this film and tell just a really fun, adventurous, and beautiful story. I love the character of Aladdin. I love his journey. I love the character of Jafar. I think he is such a entertaining and slimy villain. Robin Williams as Genie is brilliant. The songs are so catchy. And the movie manages to be a fun adventure film, but also extremely heartwarming, and is just one of the best things that Disney has to offer. It's such a fun film, and such a fun film that I love revisiting when I can. At number 3, we have The Lion King, which is just an inch above Aladdin. I almost put Aladdin in this spot, but nostalgia really takes hold of you. The Lion King is just a beautiful film. Animation, 10 out of 10. The characters are so lovable, so likable. The songs by Tim Rice and Elton John are so memorable, so amazing, and so uplifting. The Circle of Life is one of my favorite Disney songs ever. The musical sequences are so much fun. Again, The Circle of Life, one of my favorite moments in a Disney animated film, in a film in general, honestly. I love the characters. I love the darker themes that this movie can sometimes deal with, especially the most powerful moment in this film, which is the death of Mufasa, and again, when Simba sees his father before he returns to the Pride Lands. It is a beautiful moment. I think this is one of Disney's best films, and it is deserving of the praise it gets. I love this film. I can rewatch it any time of the day. It is one of my favorites. At number 2, we have The Little Mermaid. Guys, this was my first time ever watching The Little Mermaid, at least all the way through, and I fell in love with this movie. Like, at the beginning, I just fell in love with it. And by the time we got to the reprisal of Part of Your World, when Ariel is on that rock and she sings the reprisal and the waves go up, I was in love with this film. I was like, this is one of my favorite Disney animated films of all time, and it really is, guys. This movie brought so many emotions to me. I love the characters. I love the songs. Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, this is some of their best scoring to date. This is Howard Ashman's best lyrics, and Part of Your World is the best Disney song. I love that song. I love this movie. I love the characters. I love the story and how it evolves throughout the film. And I think it is such a fun movie and such a breath of fresh air from some of the alright films of the transitional era. I love this film. It was a big step for Disney animation. It is absolutely one of my favorites, and I'm going to revisit this film so much more often because I just fell in love with it. And at number 1, we have The Hunchback of Notre Dame. The Hunchback of Notre Dame is not only my favorite Disney Renaissance film, it is one of my favorite animated films, period. I absolutely love this film and everything about it. And I will admit, I think this is a very flawed film. I think it is just on the cusp of being just a complete masterpiece. But you know what? It is a masterpiece in my heart. I love this film, guys. I love the character of Quasimodo, Esmeralda, Frollo, the best Disney villain of all time with the best villain song of all time. Hellfire is absolutely fantastic. The Bells of Notre Dame out there, God help the outcast. It is just a beautiful score, guys. This is Alan Menken's best work to date. I love the soundtrack to this film. I even really like the gargoyles in this film. I think they are, for the most part, funny. Sometimes their comedy is not the best, and that's where I get into some of the flaws of this movie. This is a very flawed film, but you know what? I'm somebody that actually admires films that have flaws in them. In fact, I don't have a problem with a film that has a little flaws, that has this much ambition and this much heart. It makes me love it even more than some of the most perfect films out there. This is absolutely one of my favorite films. I love this film, and it is just a emotional experience, a religious experience that I have every time I watch this film. It brings me to tears. It just warms my heart and makes me want to watch it again and again and again. I love this film, guys, and it is definitely my favorite of the Disney Renaissance. And that, guys, is my ranking of the Disney Renaissance films. I hope you enjoyed this video. What did you think of my ranking? I know some of you are probably going to be like, how could you put Beauty and the Beast that low? But I still really love the film, guys. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I want to know your guys' ranking of the Disney Renaissance, and what did you think of my ranking overall? But anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I will be doing the post-Renaissance soon, so look forward to that video coming soon. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.